The 2020 NBA season starts next week, at least if you count the preseason, because that starts on October 4th. But now that the NBA season is really about to get started soon, I thought it's about time that I drop some predictions that I have in terms of the awards for next year. And in today's video, obviously you see the title, I'm here to talk about who I think could possibly win the 2020 MVP. Now, if you have not hit the subscribe button, make sure you do that right now. A giveaway will be coming out soon, so make sure you're aware of that. Also follow me on Twitter. You need to follow me on Twitter if you want to be a part of that giveaway. And also make sure you drop a like so I can keep making fire content just like this. But without further ado, let's get on with this video. Last year, Giannis Antetokounmpo won the MVP in one of the more close races that we've had over the past 10 to 15 seasons. I mean, a race that consisted of a guy who broke records that we haven't seen since Wilt Chamberlain, and then another guy who just basically decided to go Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with handles. It was a crazy race and very, very tight, and if you picked Giannis or James Harden, I'm not going to be mad at you because both of them had very compelling cases for that award. But next year, the MVP is really wide open. I mean, a lot of people could actually win this award, and there are a lot of legit contenders this year. But in this video, we're going to go over each and every possible contender for the award. We're going to go over why they could or may not win the award. But without further ado, let's start off with Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi Leonard, in my opinion, is the best player on the planet. This is a guy that plays both sides of the ball at an elite level, especially on that defensive side of the ball. I do believe he is the best defender in the game of basketball. Sorry to all the Rudy Gobert fans out there. But when I look at Kawhi Leonard in terms of the MVP award, that award is obviously given out to a guy that plays a majority of the season. And though I do believe Kawhi Leonard will play a majority of the year, he's probably going to take some games off, especially some of those back-to-backs, and anytime he's feeling, you know, a little soreness in his knee or something like that. And with that being said, Kawhi Leonard will probably be on load management, and if that's the case, then he probably will not qualify for the MVP. But if he does not do load management, I definitely can see him winning that award, as Kawhi Leonard has always played at an MVP caliber level over the past couple of seasons, so I definitely don't see that changing anytime soon. But the reason I really wouldn't put money on that, even if they don't do load management, is because he is playing with Paul George, and they're probably going to cancel each other out when it comes to that award. But moving on to the next player we have, and that is LeBron James. Now, LeBron James, obviously, if you see his tweets, if you see everything he's been saying over the past couple of months, it's pretty obvious that he's on a mission to prove something. And even though I think that he is on a mission to prove something and I expect an MVP caliber year, especially by the numbers, I don't see him playing defense, which the last time he won that award, he did do so. And over the past couple of years, LeBron is just not interested in doing that. And even if he can get by on the defensive side of the ball, he is going to be sharing the ball a lot with Anthony Davis, and I expect him to kind of take a step back in the regular season and then turn it up in the postseason, as he always does. And even though he's been tweeting everything he's been tweeting, I think he's more so tweeting that so when he wins, he can then say, what about now? I'm the best player, I won a championship, I got the finals MVP and all of that. I don't think he's necessarily hinting at a regular season coming out party, because LeBron over the past couple of years, the regular season he can put up his MVP caliber numbers and all, but in the postseason that's obviously where he cares more, and that's where he actually plays defense. So I definitely think that when you look at a guy like LeBron James, definitely is a candidate and could win the award, but I just don't see him doing so because Anthony Davis is on the team, and LeBron James in the regular season, like I said earlier, is known for taking some steps back to turn it up in the postseason. Now, the next candidate that we have is obviously the runner-up for next year, and that is James Harden. Now, James Harden obviously is going to be an MVP candidate, probably will be the runner-up if I'm being honest with you, but as I look at the Houston Rockets right now, there are too many question marks with this team to the point that I just don't know if they're going to have the success, or at least the right amount of success, for James Harden to actually win the MVP. Unless he goes out there and averages a triple-double with Russell Westbrook, I really just don't see James Harden winning that MVP. And though he's going to put up his numbers, like I said earlier, you do need to have some success. A lot of people need to understand the MVP isn't about the numbers, it's about the numbers in combination with with winning and the storyline. And though Harden may have the storyline with him and Russell Westbrook coming together, and he is definitely going to have the numbers because I trust James Harden with that every year, it's about the winning. I don't know for sure if he's going to have the winning down, and especially when you look at this Western Conference, it's only gotten tougher. Even the lower tier teams have gotten better, so I definitely think that's going to be something that people need to consider, but I do believe he's still a candidate. But moving on to the next player, we got Joel Embiid. Now Joel Embiid last year put up MVP caliber numbers that in some seasons would win the award, but the two things about Joel Embiid is one, winning. I don't know how many games the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win. I mean, if they're the second seed in the Eastern Conference, that should be enough, but when you look at all the teams in the West, they're probably going to have better records than the Philadelphia 76ers, or at least I'm comfortable saying the top 3 seeded teams in the West will have better records than the Philadelphia 76ers, and that won't really help his case. But the other thing is injuries. I don't see Joel Embiid playing 65 games. I mean, he's yet to even do that. And when you look at a guy like Joel Embiid's health, I mean, he's always at risk for a season-ending injury. And though the Philadelphia 76ers did go get Al Horford, so Joel Embiid will be able to rest a little bit more and take some plays off, with all that talent on that team, Joel Embiid's probably going to have his scoring numbers go down just a little bit. Guys like Tobias Harris is going to get the ball a bit more, Josh Richardson, Ben Simmons, if he gets that jumper, will probably have to be more aggressive at times, and Al Horford is also on that team. So I definitely think that when you look at Joel Embiid, the two things that I'm concerned is winning and health, and hopefully he can get those things under control because he is an MVP caliber player and plays elite on both sides of the ball, and I hope he can keep that up for next season. But moving on to the next player that we have here, we got Nikola Yogic. Now Nikola Yogic, obviously an MVP caliber player, was one of the top 5 players last year based on just individual seasons. In my personal opinion, he deserved that first team All-NBA selection, and he led the Denver Nuggets to a 54-win season and finished second in the Western Conference. That team is all intact. They have Michael Porter Jr. playing this year, and I don't really know the Bol situation, but they look like they have a shitload of talent on that roster that should be able to compete in the Western Conference and possibly finish as a top 3 seed in the West. Now the only thing about Nikola Yogic that I really don't know if he can pull together is his scoring. I do think his scoring does need to go up a little bit more. When you look at the MVP candidates, it's pretty rare that just a guy that averages 20 can win the MVP. I mean, especially over the past couple of seasons with guys like Harden, Giannis, Steph, Russ, some of those guys even leading the league in scoring in some years. It's very rare for a guy to average just 20 or even less than that and win the MVP. But Nikola Yogic, if he can average a triple-double, which is kind of possible, he could definitely get that award. I mean, a big man averaging a triple-double, that would be ridiculous. Now the other thing about Nikola Yogic though is that he isn't really popular like the other guys, or doesn't really have the personality of like a Joel Embiid or a Russell Westbrook that some people can hate or love, and I think that can definitely kind of hurt him in the race. But when you look at guys like Steve Nash, if you got other things checked, I definitely think that that can help him. But moving on to the next player that I have Steph Curry. Now Steph Curry, I think, will without a doubt have MVP numbers. The only two things about Steph Curry that I question is one, his health, because he has had health problems in the past and I definitely think that could hinder him, and two, I do not know if they're going to win enough games, because as I look at the Golden State Warriors as they're constructed right now, their bench is, let's be honest, kind of ass, and if we're being real, that backcourt defense is terrible, and when they face teams like the Rockets and the Blazers, it's only going to get worse. But hopefully the Blazers stay ass in that backcourt defense as well. But I do think that the Golden State Warriors, if they can get a 4th seed, which is definitely possible, and a 3rd seed is also possible, people need to wake up there, but if they can do those things and then Klay comes in and they get on a roll at the end of the season, other than injuries, I don't see what can stop Steph Curry from winning the MVP. Other than the guy that I think that will win the MVP next year. Even though I love Steph and I definitely think he's a candidate, there's one guy that I think will win the MVP next year, and that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, I am predicting that Giannis will win back-to-back NBA MVPs, and I think that next year there's really nothing stopping him from putting up the numbers, because he's always put up the numbers over the past couple of seasons, and defensively he's going to play it at an elite level. He still has Mike Budenholzer, and though Malcolm Brogdon was a very key loss loss for them, I still think they will be a really competitive team in the Eastern Conference and finish at least the 2nd seed. And if all of that happens, which is definitely possible because it did happen last year, then I expect Giannis to win the MVP. I mean, he has the numbers down, he has the team success more than likely down, and in terms of the storyline could easily be if Giannis has next, because that's kind of been the story for Giannis over the past couple of seasons ever since he broke out. If Giannis Antetokounmpo has next after LeBron James. So my pick for the MVP is Giannis, but my dark horse, if everything goes right for him, is Steph Curry. But that concludes this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you comment down below. Shout out to the NBA because the season is about to get underway soon, and I am definitely hyped because this season is full of so many possibilities. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, also hit the bell to be notified. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All of my social media links are down in the description box. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Peace.